Hello, everyone. Hello, if you can hear me, could you please write something in the chat? We had some difficulties yesterday. Hopefully, it's not going to be the same problem. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining, those of you who have. If you can hear me, could you please... Okay, perfect, Pauline. Thank you very much for joining today. It's really nice to have you here. So, since we wait for a couple more students, normally we have a little more. Sometimes they're late. Perhaps they're having difficulties joining the chat. How is everyone? How are you? It's the last day of the working week. Tomorrow is the weekend. What is everyone doing this weekend? Hamza, hello. What are you doing this weekend? Hello, Aline. Pauline, Sari, thank you for joining us on this free lesson at Cercle today, everyone. As I mentioned before, we're just going to wait maybe 30 seconds to see if there are some more students joining us. Hello, Chantal. It's lovely to have you here again. I hope you're doing well. I'm glad to hear, Aline. Hamza, I'm very well, thank you. It's nice to see you're doing well. Hello, Sarah. It's nice to have you here too. Okay, so let's start with the lesson today. A lot of our students, they want to learn English for holiday purposes. It's very common that you work in the year, it can be quite tiring. Everyone needs a break. So what we do is we book a holiday and we like to travel and discover new places. Unfortunately, many of these places have a native language of English. Well, of course, it depends on where you're traveling to, but a lot of countries or cities you visit will speak English. So if you have a good knowledge at a conversational level, then that will be really helpful to you. So the aim of this lesson today is to help you ask specific questions and form sentences which you could use on your next holiday, which hopefully will be soon. I'm sure we all could do with a nice holiday. To those of you who have just joined, thank you very much for joining today. The lesson is on holiday vocabulary. We are a small business center in Paris, and we are focusing on business English, but today we're going to focus more on holiday vocabulary. Okay, thank you all for joining. So we start normally with a fun fact related to the topic. So today I'm going to ask a simple question, and I would like you all to please participate on the chat. So if you're unable to find it, some of my students were asking me, it's on the right hand side of the screen, okay? And then please feel free to write and interact with the lesson. Ask me a question, answer a question, talk to someone else in the chat. It's a really friendly environment here, okay? And thank you all again for coming. So we're going to start very easy. This is to test your speed, okay? So you must respond in English to help you practice. So in what country or in which country can I find the pyramids? What country can I find the pyramids? Perhaps some of you have seen them already. If you have, please feel free to tell us what it was like, what you did. Okay, Shanta, I apologize for any difficulties you are having. Is it the sound or is it in the video? Fantastic. Okay, congratulations, Sarah. You were the first one. The pyramids are in Egypt, okay? So when we travel to a new city or a new country, we might go for many different reasons. What are the reasons you can think of for traveling? You could travel for family. Okay, I live in France, but my family lives in England. I might travel to England to see my family, to visit my family. What other reasons do we have for traveling, guys? What can you think of? Why do you travel? Do you travel for a break from work, or do you travel to relax, to do some sightseeing? What do you... Okay, fantastic. That's a really interesting input, Catherine. So, meeting people, perhaps you want to extend your friends. You want to meet some new people who perhaps are from a different culture. Perhaps you'd like to learn something new, and meeting these new people could help you do that. Fantastic contribution. It's the same for Hajjah, meeting new people. And Larry Man, I think that is my favorite reason to travel, discovering new culture. I find that we have a very routine nature and atmosphere when we live in a particular country, especially in Europe. It's difficult to find a very different culture. But if you have the possibility to travel to Asia, the culture is very different. It's very interesting to see those differences. For a job, exactly, Aline. For a job, sometimes you have work. I might have a student in another country. Fortunately, technology's moved forward and I can do that lesson on the webcam. But let's say I have a meeting in a different country, I would have to go to that meeting. Okay, we can speak English. Yes, you might go to speak the language. That's a fantastic option, Pauline. Okay, thank you for all your suggestions. Again, one last small exercise before we get started on the real lesson. Us English people, we love to travel and we love to go on holiday. We don't get a lot of sun, even in the summer. So I wanted to ask you all, what country do you think receives the most visitors of English people? So what country do English people like to go to the most? Exactly, to get sun. We don't get any sun in England. I'm not sure if you've gone, Hamza, but it's very difficult. Okay, I feel like some of you are very fast and you're very good. I feel like you may be typing the answers into Google, but you're absolutely right, Catherine and Pauline. Spain is in fact the country that us Brits travel to most, primarily for the sun, and France is second. Okay, really good, guys. So let's get started on the lesson. For those of you who have just joined, we're discussing holiday vocabulary today, and the takeaway from this lesson is that we would like you to be able to feel more comfortable in having conversations and explaining what you do to peers or friends on your vacations. So let's start. So we've spoken before yesterday about verbs. We spoke about many different topics. Let's think of some verbs to get us started about your holiday. What verbs would you use in a sentence if you were talking about your holiday or if you were planning a holiday? Perhaps planning could be a good verb to use. So what verbs can you think of? Let's make sure I spell it correctly. Can you think of related to a holiday? Okay, so take your time. I'll try and discuss as many answers as possible and I will help you write your sentences. If you could put your verb into a sentence, that would be even better. We could then show the other students what you've written and show them the correct structure of a sentence. Fantastic, Alice. Yes, we can book a holiday. That's a really good verb there. I'm sure everyone in this chat would like to book a holiday right now. Really good, Alice. To travel, yes, traveling is a very specific word we use to almost experience these new cultures. Okay, so if we travel to another country, where we're also explaining the action of putting ourselves into the culture, trying the food, perhaps going to a show. Really good. Travel. Take the car and go. I like that. It sounds very fast. It sounds very spontaneous. Take the car and go. Yes, fantastic, Elsie. We need to find a hotel. Find, fantastic, Aline. You often need to find the place you want to see. Perhaps you've arrived in France, but you can't find the Eiffel Tower, and that could be something that you really want to see. We also say, if you want to ask someone else and you want to know the directions, you can say, where can I find the nearest restaurant? Where can I find my hotel? Okay, it's a very common sentence to use if you'd like to ask a question in English. Fantastic verb. What else do we have? Swim. Perfect. That's popped right out. Swim. Yes. A lot of people on holiday do enjoy relaxing. And one of the ways they can do that is swimming or lying on the beach. We have some really good suggestions here, everyone. Yes, we have practicing the language. Very good, Merryman. Drive a boat. Okay, fantastic. Perhaps a jet ski. Perhaps you're in a very exotic location. Fantastic. Okay. So the ones that I've written down here, You can use these for a variety structure of sentences. We can say going to the beach, going to the airport. So again, going to is a very popular verb to use here, to go. In the future, I am going. We can visit. I think that's a very important verb to use if you're going on holiday. If you do decide to travel to England or the US, perhaps you want to tell your family or friends about your trip in English, you can say, I have visited. Or if you're with other people, you can say, we have visited the London Eye, Big Ben. We've also visited the Shard, some of the big popular tourist attractions in London. And I can see some really other good verbs that you're suggesting. Taking pictures, yes, we take a picture. Often people get confused with what verb to use. Fantastic. To hike, I think, Johanna, that's my favorite action to do on holiday. I like the holidays where you're active, you're walking, and you're physically keeping yourself fit. That's a really good suggestion. Okay, so now I understand that we're starting the lesson and we're still in the begin phase. So what I would like to do is to test you all and try and encourage you to write sentences in English. So some of you are already doing a fantastic effort. And please listen to me and try and read some of these sentences. It's really good to gain inspiration from each other. I would like you to try. Please don't feel afraid. Just try and use your vocabulary and try to write a full sentence. And describe for me pyramids. Okay, start with the pyramids. Okay, so you can write anything about the pyramids. I can find the pyramids in Cairo. Cairo is in Egypt. I like to go to the pyramids in the summer. I have been to the pyramids. Just the aim of this exercise is for you to practice writing sentences in English, and I am here to try and help and assess your sentences that you make and try and give you some advice for that. So what can we think of? How can we describe the pyramids? What shape are they? How many of them are there? Okay, what can you think of? I understand this is difficult. It requires a sentence structure. If people struggle to answer, I can help and I can give you some answers myself. So far, I can't see many answers. I think you are all writing. Please take your time. For me, using the verbs that I described before, I could say, I am going to the pyramids. I would like to visit the pyramids. There are 3 pyramids, and they are the shape of a pyramid. That is the shape we would use to define them. Very easy. So we have the first sentence here from Catherine. Fantastic, Catherine. Thank you very much. They are famous. Yes, they are very popular. They're a wonder of the world. And they were built. Okay, fantastic. They do have secret corridors. Catherine, that's a really good use of your vocabulary there. Secret corridors. Fortunately, I had the opportunity to go where I was younger, and you can actually go inside the pyramid and walk through, and you can see what the chambers are like inside. It's amazing. We have some fantastic sentences from some other students. So, Alina, that's fascinating. You've visited the pyramids 5 years ago. What we normally say, Alina, is we would say, I visited or I have visited. Okay, so we're using the past tense. I have visited the pyramids 5 years ago. Or you can say 5 years ago, I visited the pyramids, but a really good sentence, and I hope you enjoyed it. Elsie, you never went to Egypt, but I'd like to visit this country. Okay, fantastic, really good sentence. Good use of grammar there, Elsie. Hamza, you haven't yet seen the pyramids too, but they are beautiful, aren't they? And yes, I really like your sentence, and I completely agree. I think it's really important to discover new cultures and to see these important monuments and really important historical buildings. It's a fantastic point. Okay, we have some really other good answers. Thank you very much. I will move on to the next section now for the interest of time. But really good. Thank you, Alice and Nariman and Hajar too. Okay, so when we are on vacation, for example, when I first arrived in Paris, I wanted to try the food. I needed to find my restaurant. I needed to find my home, my hotel. So we're going to have a quick discussion about how to order in English. Okay, so you might find yourself in this position on a holiday when you sit down and the waiter comes over. Pretend I am a waiter. How would you ask politely for a glass of water, for example, or a meal? Could you please write what you would say? How would you order politely? And remember, it's very important to be polite, to try and use vocabulary and grammar which implies you're being generous, implies you have good faith, good intentions. You're very polite. I'm sure you are all very kind individuals. How do we ask for something in English? Those of you who are in the lesson today and you're perhaps unsure, hopefully one of our other students can help you out. Perfect, Pauline. May I have tap water? Yes, you've provided a very, very common question format, we should say. May I is very polite. Okay, so we can use this for a lot of different questions. Okay, if you're asking for permission or you're asking to have something, you could also say, may I go here? Okay, perhaps you want to sit at a specific table. May I have the steak? Depends what restaurant you're at. May I do this? May I see this? It's a very polite way to start a question. And if you're ever abroad and you come into contact with an English person, if you'd like to ask something, that's a really good way to start it, Pauline. Thank you for that. I would like to have exactly. That's the structure I use in France. I say je voudrais and then an item. In English, the equivalent of that is I would like. Je voudrais. I would like. That's also a very important takeaway for asking things in English. Fantastic. Please, can I drink a coffee? Fantastic, Chantal. You said please. You're being very polite. It may sound more appropriate and more like a native if you were to ask, may I have a coffee? The action of drinking is when you drink the coffee, but when you ask for a specific item, we say have. So you would normally say, please, can I have a coffee? Please, may I have a coffee? Really good, Chantal. And I'm a coffee drinker too, even though I'm English. Good morning. Could you bring me a glass of water, please? That's a very good way to say it, I guess. Again, I would think it's more common to say, may I have a glass of water, please? Fantastic. I think we have some really other good suggestions there. Following on, normally when I arrive in a new country, the first thing I do is I will need to find my hotel. And now I'm sure everyone has been in this situation where you arrive in the country, you've just landed in your plane, you're really tired, you don't want to talk a new language, and you might forget all of your English. It's happened to me and my French. So perhaps we can help each other out. How do you ask for directions to a hotel using what we just spoke about? Okay, so I've written it in the chat too. How can we use may I? And how can we use that in hotel? How could we word that structure? Okay, so I want to help you practice and help you ask for things. This is very common. I know you will need to use this when you travel to an English-speaking country. So how can we ask? How can we ask for directions to a hotel? It's not difficult, but I want to try and show you all, and again, help you practice your writing and possibly correct you if you've made some mistakes. So while I'm waiting for the responses, I can quickly go through some of the other other sentences you've written. Hello, sir. Could you give me a cup of coffee with a little bit of milk? That's really good. In English, in England, we don't normally refer to people by sir. You could say, excuse me, please may I have this? A really good, LT. Thank you for your contribution. Okay, we're starting to get some responses through now. So Catherine has responded, could you tell me where is the theatre? Because my hotel is just close to it. Fantastic, Catherine. I really like the way you've used your vocabulary there to express the location, to really explain in detail where your hotel is. You could also normally in England give the street name, but yes, if you know the name of the theatre, it might be more easy for the taxi driver to find the theatre than the hotel. Fantastic. So in that situation, Catherine, you could say, please may I have directions to the theatre, or please may you take me to the theatre if you are in a taxi, because it's close to my hotel. Fantastic. Chantal, please could you give me the way of this hotel? That's a really good attempt, and they would understand what you mean, Chantal, but normally we say, please could you give me the directions to the hotel, or please could you point me in the direction of. Okay, please can you point me in the direction of. It's a way we will ask and try to encourage them to give us the answer, to help us, direct us to the hotel. Okay, please could you help me to find the way to. Really good, Nariman. If I want to go to somewhere, which direction should I go? Take. We normally say go in that Hajar, but a fantastic sentence. Well done. Could you tell me where is this hotel? Very good, Aline. We normally would say, could you tell me how to find the Hotel Ritz, the Ritz Hotel? Could you show me how to find, or could you show me the directions for the pyramids, the Eiffel Tower? Really good. Alice, fantastic. You've used excuse me. That's really polite, and it's really important to be polite in English, and you've done exactly that. Really good, Alice. Excuse me, may I know where is this hotel? Yes, may I have the directions to this hotel? Please, could you show me where to find this hotel? Really good, Alice, thank you. Okay, so let's move on. We have a lot of answers. I would love to get through them all, but I'd just like to try and finish the lesson. But again, thank you very much for contributing. Okay, if I have a look at my list. So we're talking about directions, and I mentioned coming out of the airport and finding a taxi. Okay, so that is something that you could look for on your holiday. What other things could you look for? What other directions could you ask for? So for example, we can look for a taxi, we can look for a restaurant. Okay, if you could, try and create a sentence using the new vocabulary. So again, try and think of what we talked about in the lesson and try and think of your vocabulary. So for example, Catherine used the theatre, which was fantastic. Try and think of a noun, something you could find, something you would go to see on holiday. So for example, I would like to go to the supermarket, or I need to go to the supermarket. I don't think anyone's mentioned supermarket today, but it's very important. Normally, when you go somewhere for a long period of time, perhaps you have an apartment and you're not staying in a hotel. Okay, you would need to ask directions for the supermarket, le supermarché. C'est très important, le supermarché. Supermarket. Perhaps you want to go. Okay, we have some suggestions here. Hamza, fantastic. Could you tell me where is this place, please? Yes, if you're holding a map and you're pointing this place, could you tell me where this place is? They would understand, and it's very clear that you would like some directions. If there wasn't a map, you would need to be more specific in the place you're asking for. But that's really good. Okay, I just received loads of text at the same time. I think it might be my connection, but I will try and go through them all. Could you please tell me where is the nearest gym from the hotel? Fantastic, Nariman. So sometimes you like to keep active on a holiday. You like to be fit. You like to do running, perhaps. One point I would make, Nariman, is if you're talking to between two places, your hotel and the gym, we normally say, where is the nearest gym to the hotel and not from the hotel. A very difficult mistake there, but that was a fantastic sentence, Nariman. Hajar has written, can you help to find some suggestions about interesting restaurants to visit? Fantastic, Hajar. Again, as I said the sentence there, there's no need for the it at the end. You can just say, could you help to find someone who has suggestions about interesting restaurants to visit? Okay, really interesting sentence, Hajar. Fantastic. Okay, and let's move on. We have a couple more exercises, and then we'll finish off with a little bit of a game. I really like the interactivity that we all have. And again, I really appreciate everyone coming and being so interactive. It's really good to see you practicing, and hopefully we are helping. It's really nice to do this and to talk with you all. So now what I'd like to do is, for the first time, I think you're going to see my French. So I'm sorry, and I hope it's not that bad. What I would like you to do is translate the sentence that I say into English. Okay, so these are popular sentences which you will need to use. Translate them into English, and again, it's a race. So try and respond as fast as you can. Okay, so here's my French. Get ready. Où se trouve l'hôtel le plus proche? What does that mean in English? Où se trouve l'hôtel le plus proche? What am I trying to ask? Who could translate that into English for me? The reason why I'm asking you to translate from French to English is that loads of people normally think in their head in their native language. So if you think, I'm giving you a real life scenario here. So you have the French, but you have to find it in English. Okay, fantastic, Chantal. You were the first one to respond. Excellent. Where is the nearest hotel? If you're unorganized and you haven't booked somewhere to stay, yes, the question you need to ask someone is, where is the nearest hotel? And I can see that everyone else has understood the question, so well done to all of you. My next French sentence is où puis-je trouver? So this is, I haven't put in a noun, I haven't put in a place, but this is a useful stem of a sentence. So this is very useful to put at the beginning of a question. Okay, où puis-je trouver? Où puis-je trouver? What is that in English? You can use this for many different sentences, and it will really help you. Yeah, I nearly said the answer then. Exactly, Catherine. Where can I find? And then, if you ask this question, they will give you an answer based on the directions. They will say, it's just down here. It's just on the right. It's on the left. And I can see that everyone else has the correct answer too. So well done, everyone. Where can I find? Or where could I find? Fantastic. Okay. Really good. I think we're coming towards the end, so we can do a quick interactive exercise to finish off today. To finish off the week. It's the last day. Is everyone excited for the weekend? Hopefully. Okay, so what should I ask? Since we're talking about traveling different countries, I would like you all to find, or write, I should say, to write a country beginning with B. Who can think of a country beginning with B? Who's going to be the first one? Who's going to be the first one to find a country with B? There are loads, and you must write the English Belgium, that's what I was thinking of, Catherine. Fantastic. Belgium, Bulgaria, Bangladesh. We've got a mixture of cities. Oh no, sorry, I'm reading wrong. Bahamas, Belgium. Yeah, I was thinking Belgium. Um, yeah, Brazil. I think no one's written Brazil. I think Brazil might be the biggest one out there, beginning with B. Okay, so we're slightly over the half an hour, but it's really fun to do this exercise with you all. So we're going to do one more. Okay, so we've been talking about verbs and what you do on holiday. So can you think of a verb that you would use on your vacation beginning with T? Can you think of a verb beginning with T that you might use on vacation? I, I, I will wait and see what you come up with. So think about, yeah, we have some fantastic answers. Traveling, trekking, tipping, fantastic. Trekking, trip to people. A lot of the answers earlier were about having a conversation with someone in English. Fantastic. Okay, thank you all for joining us today, and we hope you've really enjoyed this week. It's been very enjoyable for us, and we really appreciate having you all on the chat. Below there is a button to subscribe, and there's a description for our company. You can find our website and you can learn more about us. We're a business company in Paris, and our aim is to try and help you learn English for professional or personal purposes, and we try and do our best to help. And that is the reason why we do these online videos, to try and help you all. I would like to personally thank you all for coming. It's been really nice again to have a conversation with you all. We're very lucky to have very kind and generous students like you. So you make our jobs very easy, and we really hope to see you next week. We hope you have a good weekend. We'll see you soon. Goodbye.